You walk out of the partner meeting feeling electric. The investors nodded at the right times, they laughed at your jokes, and the conversation flowed perfectly. But 2 weeks later, all you have is radio silence. You've been ghosted. The meeting went well, but a logic gap in your numbers signaled a lack of preparation you didn't even know you were showing. Check. The market size, or TAM SAM SOM slide. In the room, investors rarely interrupt to correct a flawed market size slide. They simply check out, smile through the rest of the presentation, and mentally pass on the deal before you've even reached your traction numbers. Sloppy market sizing signals a lack of rigor that stops investors from making the introductions you need to keep your round alive. Most founders treat the market slide like an industry spec sheet, but investors don't read decks. They skim them in under 4 minutes. They aren't looking for massive facts. They are scanning for psychological signals of competence. This leads to the lazy TAM trap. A founder cites a generic number, like the entire $2 trillion healthcare market, assuming that a bigger number proves a better opportunity. When an investor looks at your market sizing, they are trying to buy confidence in your operational rigor. They want to know if you understand how to build a business, not just how to use Google search. In venture capital, signaling is everything. Confidence is rarely conveyed by massive round numbers. It is demonstrated through being ruthlessly specific. Let's start with TAM, the total addressable market. The most common mistake here is claiming you have no competition within a boundless global industry. When an investor hears no competition, they interpret it as a founder who hasn't done basic market research and doesn't yet know who their actual customer is. The only way to use a top-down TAM is to apply a logical filter that carves away the irrelevant parts of the industry. You need to isolate the precise core where your product can actually compete. TAM isn't about proving how big the world is. It's about proving you know where your product survives inside of it. Then there's SAM, the serviceable addressable market. Founders often fear that narrowing this number makes them less ambitious, but specificity is actually a strength. To an investor, extreme specificity in the SAM is the best proof of operational rigor you can provide. To build a credible SAM, go from the bottom up. Identify your exact number of ideal customers, multiply by annual contract value. This creates a reality-based SAM block. This number functions as an impenetrable constraint, showing investors exactly who you can realistically sell to today. A heavily constrained SAM proves that you are operating in present reality, not a future fantasy. Finally, we reach SOM, the serviceable obtainable market. This is where most founders stumble by pulling a random, optimistic percentage out of thin air. Investors will immediately cross-reference your SOM revenue against your financial projections. If your SOM implies 45 million, but your P&L shows 20 million, you signal your departments aren't talking. Fix this by calculating SOM on sales capacity, sales reps times quota times deal size. Now the math aligns with your hiring model. SOM is not a market capture guess. It is an inescapable audit of your financial logic. Reframing the market size slide as a test of operational logic changes it from a slide of industry trivia into a defensible argument for your competence as a founder. You can audit your own deck tonight using the title test. Read only the slide titles from top to bottom. If those titles don't tell a complete, compelling story on their own, the deck is failing to communicate your logic clearly. Replace a generic title like market size with something specific, such as targeting 12,000 mid-market logistics firms for a $2.5 billion SAM. It makes the investor's job easier by stating the conclusion for them. You don't need to buy anything to apply this title test and tighten your narrative right now. But if you want the heavy lifting done for you, the VC-ready 16-slide pitch deck in Canva and all 16 VC-quality AI prompts are waiting in the $497 kit linked in the description. They provide a structural foundation designed to meet the standards of the partner on the other side of the table.